Hi everyone and welcome to another video from Circuit Tutorials. I'm Bjornafar and today I'll show you how to make scrollable subtitles that will show for yourself and other players. So just follow along in this tutorial and I'll see you there. Here are the chips we're going to need. Feel free to pause the video and then spawn in each of the chips one at one. Now let's wire it all together. First, pull out your maker pen, go over to the event definition and configure this event definition. Change the name to send subtitle. This is so we will know what event it is. Then down here on the add new property, add a property, you can call this one text. And then here on the bool, change this bool down to string and then press add property. Then this will then change and then you would configure your event sender and you would change this to send subtitle. Then here on the event receiver you're going to configure this, then you're going to change it to the send subtitle event. Now up here your list string variable, you're going to change this to queue of text. This is just so we know what, so we can know the difference between what it is. Then wire the list into the list get count list, and then the count into the equals, into the greater than, and into the greater than again. This greater than is going to be changed from 0 to 1, and wire this bool here into this if chip over here on the condition, and this bool goes into that one. Then the equals goes up to the if chip up here. Now, the list remove at goes into the string list, and the same goes down to list add, and the same with the list get element here. Oh wait, my fault. This goes down to the list add. Then you wire the string into the list get element, and you wire this into the string and this into this list element again. Now in here in the divider you can make this any type of divider you want. I'm just gonna do this symbol. It could be like a separator like that, but I'm gonna do this simple since it's the easiest way for me. Then you're going to wire this list get element into the string length, and then over here you're going to wire the string split to the list get element, and you're going to change the index from 0 to 1. Now this list get element is going to go into the parse float. Now the string length goes into the int variable, and the string length goes into the subtract, and then the subtract into the int variable again, and then you can configure your subtract chip and add a input to get another input here. And then you're going to change this to -1, and this is going to go into the length of the string. And then over here you're going to wire this string into the string substring, and this into the subtitle, and then the execution here into the list int variable. And then you're going to wire these up so the input goes into the input and the output goes into the input. Then you're going to subtract it by 1. Then you're going to wire your SFX into the play audio at position, and then into the list, the variable here. Now this is the sound that's going to play every time it shows the new text. So I'm going to change mine here. I like the sound called click. You can change it to that, and I'm just going to speed it a little up. And then you're going to configure your audio play at position. This synced is going to be on by default, so you want to turn that off. And then you want to turn this is 2D to true. So every time it subtracts from this list, it will make that click noise. But now over here, you're going to wire this event receiver into the if, and then the then is going to go into the run here, and the else is going to go over to this if right here. Then we're going to wire the after delay into cancel, and then the cancel into the show subtitle. and then the result from this parse float will go into the delay here, and then the result from this greater than will go into the condition on the if. Then you're going to wire the a into the in variable here, and this just stays as 0. Then over here we will wire the else into the list remove at, and then the output of the list remove at into this, and then the then into the list variable, or sorry, the in variable here. And then from here we're going to set the execution from the event into the list at, and the text we have from that event into the item on the list at, and then the if here into the execution from list at into if, and then we're going to wire the else into the in variable here. Now over here on the event receiver, we're going to configure it, change it to 30 Hz. And now you're done with the system. When we go over here to the event and we write something like hi, this is a test, and then we use the symbol here we had on the string split, and then we can type a number. Now this number, for example, I'm going to do 0, and if I execute this event, it will scroll the text. But if I change this to, for example, 1, it will have a 1 second delay in between each letter. But yeah, that's how it's all wired up. I will now show you all I'll now explain how it all works. So this is how it all works. If we start over here at the event receiver, the sender and receiver, this is where we will send our text. This will go into the list add, which will add the text we just had into this list. Then it will check if this list is greater than 1. If it is, it won't do anything, but if it isn't, it will set the variable to the length of the text part. So on this one, for example, it will get the hi, this is a test. That's what it will get, because that's what it's split into. So it'll get the length of that, and it will set this variable into the text, like the length of the text. Then what we're doing is that we're subtracting it by the length here. So what's happening is that it will be 0 by default, and then every time we remove, so basically when we're subtracting over here, it will, instead of going from, let's say there was 48 letters, it will, instead of going from 48 and then down to 0, it will go from 0 to 48. And then we're just having the subtract here, because by -1, that's so it will add 1, because it will start off on a blank, and it would remove 1 letter instead, and we don't want that. And then every time, this is being subtracted, this length will be greater and greater, so it will basically scroll the text, and it will show the subtitle each time, and it will subtract it, and then it will play the audio. Then over here on the second bit, that is the number we're making. So when we type 1, for example, this parse float will convert the number into a float, and that float is the delay that is in between this delay here in seconds. So when we put 1 second, it's gonna subtract once every second, but when we put 0, it will just subtract it really quickly, really fast. Now, since this is with list, this is a queue. It's basically queued. So if we change this to 0.3, for example, and I add this, now I'm gonna spawn in a button, and I'm gonna activate this super quickly twice. So this will execute twice, right? I will hover over this so you can see the count. Here, I'm just gonna add a few more numbers. This is just so it's easier to see here. But I will click the button twice, and you can see that right now there's 2 in the list, right? So when this text is done showing up, it will then show it up again, because that's the second queued text. So as we can see, it now went to the next one, and now it's showing up the next. Now let's say we have one where this is all there is, and we will keep the same, I would say around 0.5, right? See, so now that this subtitle was finished, now it's just gonna stop. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this button, and then I'm gonna change this number really quickly, and I'm gonna click it again, and you'll be able to see how the speed changes when I change the number. So how you can basically queue text. So I'm now going to change this to 0, and I'm going to say hi again really quickly, and I'm going to add this. And we can see that the current subtitle is really slow, and then the next one will be super fast. So what we did is that we queued it. Now I'm going to bring Pumpkin into the room, my good friend Pumpkin here, because I want to showcase what happens if we configure this event and send it to all. So I'll just quickly explain what it does, and then I'll bring Pumpkin in here so I can get it from another viewpoint. But basically what it will do is that it would send the event to everybody, so everyone in the entire room would get this subtitle. So right now when I'm executing this and it was on local, the text will only show for me. But now I'll bring my good friend and I'll show you what it looks like for him. Alright, so in the room now I have my friend Pumpkin here. He will press the button, and as you can see, it will execute for me and it will send the text to me and him. And I can click the button, and then he will be able to see it. You can also configure the event sender to players to make it send to specific players if you want to. Thanks for watching another video of circuit tutorials. If you could use this tutorial, I'm very happy you could, and I'm thankful that you watched until the end. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments, or if you have an idea for what I should make for my next tutorial, please leave it in the comments. Until then, I'll see you for the next video.